You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network.
It's a new year, and I bet you have new ideas or a new plan or new goals for yourself. Well, Wix.com has got you covered when it comes to your website. Years ago, one of my very first websites was built by Wix.com. And even back then, I was like, they make it so easy to build your own website. Because I can tell you this already. I've paid lots of money before to have my website built by other people. Wix makes it easy for you, the everyday person that doesn't really understand how building a website happens. Wix makes it so easy, especially with some of their AI tools. So when I started my podcast and YouTube channel, I didn't know what I was getting myself into at all. Back then, we didn't have AI. It was just me, myself, and I doing every single thing. If I could go back in time, if I was starting my business today, I'd use Wix. There's so many really cool options that Wix has now available to you. You can create a website your way, whether you want to have AI to jump in or you prefer to do it yourself. Use the AI when you want or how you want. You can customize any detail with the most flexible website editor out there. Rest easy knowing that your Wix site is backed by 99.99 uptime and enterprise-grade security. No add-ons required. Built so that you can own your individuality, create freely, and scale fearlessly. As I mentioned before, they have really cool AI capabilities. Wix is packed with some of the coolest, most useful AI features and agents built specifically for SMB so that you can grow your business without burning out. And that is a powerful statement. Generate unlimited images, website sections, product descriptions, and more. Automate email marketing, SEO tasks, inventory management, and more. Enjoy easy, fuss-free domain registration, web hosting also included. Powered by 280 plus million businesses around the world. They're not new to this. They're true to this. Start delivering AI solutions way before it was cool. Wix has been pioneering in website tech for almost 20 years. Sign up for free at Wix.com. That's Wix.com. Head on over to the description for more details. And we're back. What's going on, guys? Thank you so much for your patience. I appreciate it. As you know, we were just live recapping the Real Housewives of Potomac, so I had very limited amount of time because when I watch these shows, I usually end up rewinding, taking notes, just wanting to rewatch certain parts. If you guys had to rate this week's episode of Married to Medicine, how would you rate it? What did you think of it? I have a lot of thoughts, but can we first start off with Dr. Contessa gaslighting us on Watch What Happens Live? This is the same thing that she did the last time that she was on the show, and we all were like, okay, Dr. Contessa, I'm just done with you. She's gaslighting us on this show. She still has not even showed any sort of regret on how she handled the whole Brandy situation. She's still making excuses for it. She was making excuses when asked about it during Watch What Happens Live. I was like, just apologize. You were being so cringy at Brandy's situation. Yes, Brandy thanking her husband multiple times got a little weird. However, you talking about, oh, I've had plenty of dinners and things like that. My party was lit. We had such a great time. We had this person there and that person there. Everybody was talking about how great this party was. No one said there was anything wrong with you throwing a party for yourself. No one ever said that. You were the one to make a big deal. And then you're gaslighting us like we're crazy. It's weird behavior. As weird as those lips that you had on your dress. Hair and makeup looked great though, Dr. Contessa. I think you are such a stylist could do so much with you. Honestly, I would have rather you just wear a simple black dress as opposed to putting this big old. Did you get that from Party City? Like, I want to root for Dr. Contessa because I think she's actually really smart, but she's gaslighting us all the time. Maybe because Dr. Scott gaslights her. Stop gaslighting us. We saw what we saw. You brought this up. And I hope Brandy lights you up at the reunion. Brandy, if you're watching this, light her up at the reunion for her hypocrisy and constantly gaslighting us as the audience. I'm sure you had a fantastic birthday party. We all would have thought that it was a fantastic birthday party. You were the one to make it seem like you would have liked for Scott to throw you a party like this, but you know that he's not going to throw you a party like this. And then you gave Brandy advice about husbands. No, Brandy's doing quite fine with her husband and her dinner party. You said such weirdo things at her birthday dinner. You ruined her birthday dinner. At least for us. She probably didn't feel that way, but you ruined it. I'm like, looking your nose up at the dinner party. I'm sure if her husband decides to throw her a big old party like you did, it will be better. But her husband will probably throw it. That is the problem. You made it the problem. We didn't care. We know who Dr. Scott is. We know Dr. Scott is trash. We already know that. We didn't forget the last few seasons that you guys were on and you were complaining to us about Dr. Scott. And now all of a sudden we're supposed to pretend like we didn't see what we saw. Girl, you like it, we love it. I don't want to see it anymore. Especially if you're going to bring it up. And then when we bring it up, when she says, you know, the sky is great today. And we look up, it does look real great. What you mean? It's sunny out here. I don't get it. Even Dr. Heavenly called her out for it in a couple of episodes ago, but they're not fighting anymore, so fine. All right, girl, you like it, we love it for you. Honestly, I don't love it for you, but I don't care. I don't care at this point. I don't care at this point. I just find it weird. All right. Lakita, don't be wishing nothing on me, Lakita. She says, Kemp, are you getting a cold? No. I just took my elixir. I am fine. Okay? And if I am, I'm off for the rest of the week and y'all get no content. Look. No. Yeah. Moving on. I'm feeling just fine. Little Miss Sunshine says, bring back the villain era. The villain era never really left. But here we are. Guys, keep liking the video if you haven't already. We're talking about the latest episode of Married to Medicine. I had to talk about Dr. Contessa and her appearance on Watch What Happens Live last night. Whatever. Look, whatever. I just had to mention that because we don't really talk too much about Dr. Contessa in this episode. But let's get into this. This is episode 6. So at the very top of the episode, speaking of Dr. Contessa, Dr. Heavenly, and Angel go over Quad's house. Quad is back from Ghana. Okay. She went to Ghana to do her whole egg retrieval process and things like that. So we get a little bit of that later on in the episode as well. Okay. So Quad reveals that, you know, she's gained a lot of weight because of the shots and things like that. So that's, you know, because of hormones and whatnot. So she's gained a lot of weight because of that. Dr. Contessa talked about how pregnancy is terrible. She talked about her own pregnancy. She's like, you know, people love to say, you know, pregnancy is beautiful. She's like, it's horrible. It's horrible. But okay. I've never given birth. I've never been pregnant, so I don't know. I've only heard terrible things. Okay. Okemia says villain and Taurus are synonymous. That does not feel like a compliment. Okay. That feels like you are attacking us Tauruses. You know what I mean? I don't think so. Mr. Melon Magic says, I like Quad, but do y'all think that she's doing things surgical-wise in Ghana? What do you mean? Like she's getting work done? No, I don't think she's getting work done. Hey, Melissa. Melissa's watching on Facebook. So Quad talks about how she's gained weight and things like that. She gives them an update. She says they did 4 fertilized eggs while she was in Ghana, and now she's just waiting to hear about the results. If you watch the episode, spoiler alert, Okemia says, I'm a Taurus Kempire. Oh, okay, well, well, be nicer to ourselves, okay? So she says now she's just waiting for an update in regards to whether or not she has solid embryos, okay? All right, so Heavenly says to Toya, they start talking about her issues with Toya. And she basically says that, did you guys not read the text messages? The text messages, Toya started with her first. She brought up her family. She says, if you bring up my family, everything's off limits. Nothing's off limits, I should say. And so they didn't show the actual text message. They just show a text that was said, but it's not the actual text message, which I find to be interesting. They're doing a lot of that this season on Married to Medicine when they talk about her son and being in the blogs and things like that. It makes me wonder, did they reach out to any of the bloggers in regards to featuring some of the content? Or they just don't want to do that anymore? I don't know. Maybe this particular production company doesn't want to do that. Because I find it to be interesting. They make up their own little headline. They make up their own little text exchange. I'm like, why can't we see the actual text? Are you guys making that up? I don't know. I don't trust production to give us the actual text. But Dr. Heavenly says that it was Toya that started with her first, bringing up her son in the text message. And according to the other lady, she didn't bring up your son. I mean, she kind of did. we kind of know what the subtext to that text was. But look, I don't expect anything less from Heavenly and Toya. This is what they do. They go back and forth. They will do whatever it takes to make a good show. I think they're more alike than they are different. But okay. So Heavenly says that. Contessa and Angel are like, no, that's not what happened. So Dr. Contessa jokes if Simone is the one who leaked the story, Dr. Heavenly's son's story to the blogs because she likes to look them up. And we're like, what? So apparently Dr. Simone has a habit of Googling things on people and looking people's things up. So Heavenly decides to spill some tea. Yeah, she told me that if she had Quad's VIN number, she'd look up the Rolls Royce that she got from King as well. Not them spilling tea on Dr. Simone. And so this already is starting to brew an issue. Remember, we thought we would be done with Quad and Dr. Simone's issues. Well, this is what's going to reignite what we see next week. Because Dr. Heavenly puts it out there. She's like, oh, maybe I'm not a good friend for bringing it up. You know what you're doing, Dr. Heavenly. You are producing. So Dr. Heavenly reveals that that's what she apparently, Dr. Simone said. And I agree with Quad. If she told Heavenly, she knows that you're going to come back and tell me. I find it weirdo behavior, though, that they are just they're used to Dr. Simone looking stuff up on them. I find that to be weird. First of all, I wouldn't do that to my friends. I'm not against this, but some of y'all say before y'all even go on a date, you're already Googling and schmoogling, going through people's social media and stuff like that. I haven't done that either. And maybe because I'm such a public person in regards to my social media, I'm like, I don't even think, I should go look through their social media. So and that's not what we're talking about here when it comes to Dr. Simone, because Dr. Simone is not just looking at someone's social media. She's looking up the records. She's looking up the court records. She's looking up, like, girl, if you don't you got your own business to be worried about? Why would you want the VIN number? Well, maybe because there was so much smoke in the streets when King came on the show. Remember, he had that whole lawsuit. So maybe that's what she was Googling and smoogling and wanted to see if the car was involved in the situation. Maybe that's why she looked it up or wanted to look it up. I think that's weird. I think it's weird. I don't even care. I don't even care about you're on a reality show. If that's your real friend, I think it's weird. It's weirdo behavior. But we already know. This is just confirming for me that Dr. Simone's not happy in her marriage. I know you're probably like, where'd that come from? Well, I always say, if you are truly happy at home, you wouldn't be so miserable in your friend groups, at work. Anytime I used to see people when I worked in corporate America, anytime I would see people so unhappy at work and making other people's lives miserable, I said, I'm betting you 100% they're miserable at home. They're not happy at home. And usually I'm right. I mean, other times you won't know unless that person opens up to you and tells you what's going on at home. But 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty sure you're miserable at home too. If you're coming to, you think I'm coming to the office miserable and making other people's lives miserable if I'm happy at home? Nope. No. PSM says, it's weird, but I don't like Quad. So see, that's the problem. You could not like somebody, but still call out a terrible thing. So Sasha says, borderline stalker energy. It's weirdo behavior, but we already know Dr. Simone is weird. We know that already, right? I don't think we should accept it. I definitely think she should be called out for it. What do you need my VIN number for? Weirdo. Weirdo. So we're simultaneously having that scene with King meeting up with Dr. Eugene and Cecil at the barbershop. So this is where King opens up about some of what he's feeling when it comes to the constant trips to Ghana. Because that's the thing. First of all, it's already tough. And shout out to the couples that have gone through stuff like this. It's already a tough process, this whole IVF journey, doing it here in the States. Now we're adding the element of now we're flying to Ghana to do it. So then there's the added, like, okay, now we're taking time out and traveling to Ghana. Because he's also going with her. So it's not like she's going there on her own. He's going there with her. So now you got to pay for the trips to Ghana. For those that know a thing or two about this whole process, I know she said that she heard from some reliable sources that Ghana had some really good doctors out there helping with this process. But you also are very friendly with Dr. Jackie, who's also in this business. So it doesn't make sense to me. Yes, Dr. Jackie is someone involved here doing the tests and things like that for you here. But I don't understand, why wouldn't you just go through the entire journey? Is it cheaper in Ghana in comparison to doing it here? I don't know. Like, something's not connecting for me why she decided to go to Ghana when you are on a cast with 2 OBGYNs. Why would you go anywhere besides the doctors that can you not afford Dr. Jackie and how much she's going to charge you for this type of thing? I don't know. I'm asking these questions because I just don't understand why we're adding the additional stress of traveling as well. Look, Dr. Payne Nestor says the Ghana thing is weird. It's giving for medical tourism. And look, sometimes it's worth it. Sidebar. Hold on. Let me spill my own tea. Guys, remember I told you before, sometimes I want to go to Turkey and I should do the whole hair transplant thing. Not they reached out to me.
That's really upsetting to me, so I'd appreciate it if you didn't say that.
Not they reached out to me. I'm not doing that. I'm glad I got a beautiful head. I think, first of all, I feel like that whole process is so, like the healing process is so, like I don't like that whole, like you can end up getting like black eyes after having the surgery. It works though. That's the thing. It works. And every once in a while, I'm like, not that I feel like, oh my God, I'm missing out. I wish I had hair. I wouldn't mind having hair in order to do different things and different hairstyles and play around. You know what I mean? Because I used to have hair. I used to do all the things when I was young. I had a high top. You know what I mean? I used to do different things. But I thought it was funny. They reached out to me and they were like, they pay for everything. Should I do it, y'all? Look, should I do it? No, I like my head. I got a good head. But then I think then I think to myself, though, hear me out. This is all medical related. So we're talking about Married to Medicine. This was a filler episode anyway, right? But then I think to myself, like when I sweat, if I had hair, it would stop the sweat a little bit. And then I think to myself, I could do different hairstyles. I mean, I could do a wig thing, but look, the wigs are not the same as the follicles coming out of your head. You know what I mean? But now then I would have to find a new barber. Now I got hair. And what if my original barber is a Taurus like me? I wonder if he still cuts hair. No, I'm working it out in my head. Should I do it? I'm not doing it, y'all. I'm not going under the knife in Turkey, even though plenty of people have done it. I just don't like the process afterwards. Can you imagine me coming on here looking crazy? With that, I can't do anything. I'm live all the damn time. And you can't cover it up. I want to be on somebody's flight looking like I just came out of... I just don't like the way it looks. I know eventually it'll start to look normal. Nuh-uh, Kira says, do it for the plot. You want me to be the test dummy so y'all can see here? You can't put anything on your head. The V-Light says, I can't see you with hair. I used to have hair, people. I used to have hair. I let it go a long time ago, but I used to have hair. I'm afraid. But they reached out to me, y'all. I'm going to consider it. Someone says show up in a toupee and we'll judge. I would look good with hair. Okay, because I used to have hair. I'm just thinking that there's so much more I could do with hair. I could get the little cornrows. See, I didn't do that. I should have did that when I was younger. I should have grew my hair. I had Jamaican parents, and I went to Catholic school. I can't go nowhere with no cornrows. Damn it, y'all ruined my life. I could have had cornrows, but you know what I do that with? You know how you could create emojis with your Apple phone, your little memoji. So some of the emojis, I got a big afro. I got one where I got the cornrows. That's how I play. I got one with the luxurious hair. That's how I play. I'm telling y'all way too much. Luckily, I have a very nice head. I just shaved my head today. I have a very nice head. I'm just letting y'all know. Don't be shocked if one day y'all see me up in Turkey. I want to go to Turkey regardless. But if they'll pay for everything, but then I'm going to look crazy. Okay, Bloomingdale says, show us a picture of you with hair and then we'll decide. Hold on, let me see if I can find one real quick. Guys, keep tapping your screens. If you tapping your screens, we're now on TikTok. Keep liking the video if you haven't already. It's easy, free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. Can I find a real... Let me see if I can... Let me see. I got way back. I got one, though. Hold on. Okay, I can go way back. Y'all want me to go way back? Hold on. That's me as a baby. Look, I had hair. Look at that hair. Billy D. Williams. Okay? And for those that are listening to this, yes, that's me with hair. Let me zoom in. That's baby Kempire with hair. I was a cutie patootie, right? Look at that hairline and the waves. Yes. Okay. Jesse says, we won't judge you if you do it. Look, y'all do realize this about me. This is what I love about being a tourist. If I really wanted to do it, I don't care what anyone thinks. No shade to y'all. If I really wanted hair and I wanted to do it, I'm doing it. Okay? I could care less what anyone else thinks. That's just me. But that was bacon. Oh, but wait, hold on. I got another one. We have digressed, y'all. Can we focus? Kempire, you brought this up. Let me show you this. This was high school. Hold on. Let me show you. And I don't have a beard. Hold on. High school. This is high school. Look at that hairline. Look at that hair. Come on. Okay. Look at that hair. Okay. Hairline was a little suspect, but look at that hair. Look at those cheekbones. Come on now, cheekbones. Look at those cheekbones. Okay. And for those that are listening to the podcast version, if you want to see, you better go to the YouTube. Okay. Look at that. That was high school. I had hair. Okay. I had hair. Oh, wait, let me show you the high top. Not like if we're going to go there. Okay, the high top was a little rough, okay? I don't know why we didn't get a fresh haircut for the school pictures, okay? But I had hair. Boom. Yes, I've been cute my entire life. I've been cute my entire... Look at that. I had a full-on high top. I needed a fresh haircut, though. I definitely needed a fresh haircut. Carolina says, nope, stay bald, Cam. What, you trying to say you don't like my hair? You don't like me with hair? Okay, fine. Look. Okay. Oh, look at me, my model date. No, I'm not showing none of this. All right. Guys, we've digressed, but we're back. Married to Medicine. What was I talking about? So King meets up with the boys at the barbershop. This is where things go down. I used to love going to the barbershop because the conversations in the barbershop, ladies, if you want to know the tea, it's at the barbershop. The amount of heterosexual talk that I heard at the barbershop, I was just like, Y'all did what? You cheated? You did what? I used to hear all kinds of stuff. And I'm just sitting there getting my haircut. And I'm like, they really talk at the barbershop. So King says that it was only supposed to be one trip. Whoever advised you that this process could just be one, I don't know the actual numbers on the probability of it just being one trip to Ghana to do this. So King is basically like, it was only supposed to be one trip, but now it's been 5. So we already know that this part, the IVF journey is expensive. Now you also have to fly to Ghana to do this. And we're not even thinking about the emotional part of this, where she's, going through hormone therapy. So he's already talked about that. So he's just like, it was only supposed to be one trip. Now it's been 5. 5 trips. So I think that's important to note when we get to the final scene of Married to Medicine. So King says it's taken away time from his daughter. I thought that was interesting that he pointed that out. Because again, if you're flying to Ghana, that's not around the corner. You're going away for a few days. And knowing Quad, you know how Quad likes to dip it and do it. I wouldn't be surprised she goes there and she's staying for like a week. But he's like, this is taking time away from my daughter. He says that he has his he has put his own needs to the side. Did you? I feel we don't have to go in order, because one of the things that stood out to me at the end of the episode when King talks about this, he basically says he's only doing this for Quad. You cannot do something like this when you're bringing a child into the world and say that you're only doing it for the other person. And that for me already was a red flag. He says that he's only doing this for Quad. He basically was done having kids. He didn't think about having kids again. He has his daughter. But Quad, I'm sure Quad is probably going through it too, because she's like, Dr. Gregory wanted a kid with me, but I thought I had all the time in the world. I think that's very relatable for a lot of people. I forgot who was talking about this recently. Oh, it was Claudia Jordan talking about this, about waiting to find the right person. You would prioritize your career. I think a lot of women, specifically Black women, do this and probably feel like Quad. And like, now that I'm ready to have the kids and ready to have the family, my body isn't ready. So now we're seeing people go through this IVF journey, which is expensive, and it puts a toll on your body. So he says that he's only doing this for Quad. And I'm like, we'll get back to that, though. We'll get back to that. So he's at the barbershop, not complaining, because I know some people do not see it for King, and a lot of people do not see his side of things. We have to keep in mind, a lot of couples that go through this sort of IVF journey, it puts a toll on the relationship. My concern, though, with this whole situation is that you guys don't even know what house you want to live in. And you're talking about raising a child together? And I'm not saying that you have to get married. You're plenty of people that never get married, but they're in serious committed relationships. But y'all can't even think about where you want to live together. Let's figure that part out first before we start talking about an IVF journey. Hold on, wait a minute, Tiffany. Tiffany says she deleted all his pictures off her IG. Are you serious? You know I don't follow Quad. Everyone has been speculating that these two may have broken up. Look, this will be the time I find out Quad stopped following me. I mean, not following me. That she blocked me, but she didn't. I appreciate it, Quad. Let's take a look. No king, no king, no king, no king. Y'all, Shantae's got a man, but not Quad. I don't see King on this, y'all. She did not block me. I'm on Quad's page right now. Hey, Quad. Quad and King have broken up. Everyone has been saying this because remember she was just recently, where was she, in Nigeria? Where was she? She was somewhere with Yandy, who also is newly single. And everyone was like, wait a minute, did Quad and King break up? It wouldn't shock me based off how this episode ended. Y'all so used to everyone blocking me. Quad didn't block her Taurus brother, okay? Quad's pretty. Look, as I scroll through, I don't see King on here, y'all. I don't know why people are so obvious with these things. Lord have mercy. I think Quad would actually be a good mother, though. Because we've seen Quad with her nephew. And I wonder if Quad's feelings about having a child change after she lost her niece. Because remember, there was also that tragedy as well. So some of those things may be letting you think, get your mind rolling. I don't see King on here at all, y'all. I've gone through how many years of her life, and I don't see no King on here. Hold on, let me go back all the way up. I don't see King on here at all. And my thing is that as a Taurus, her King, she's put him on a reality show. I'm about to say, maybe she doesn't want to blast him to the world. No. Oh, no, where was she? Oh, she was over here with what's his name? What's that man's name? Swanky. They were in Nigeria. I don't see her man. They broke up, y'all. Y'all heard it here first. Thanks, Tiffany. Y'all heard it here first. King and Quad broken up. He's not on her profile at all. At all, y'all. He's not on her profile. That's her Instagram story. Quad, I'm all in your Instagram story. Let's see if we see King in the Instagram story. No, I see food, though. Typical Taurus. Here she goes celebrating. She having a good old time. I don't even have the audio on, and I can hear this audio. No, now she dirty whining. Oh, she's single, y'all. I know a single Taurus when I see one. Damn, Quad. Okay, sorry. Let me focus. Y'all heard it here first. Thanks, Tiffany. Yeah. Everything is Todd's fault. It's a scheme. It's a scheme. Did y'all see that recent photo of Todd where he was posed up with the kids, but Mama Joyce is in the background? I didn't even realize Mama Joyce was in the background until someone zoomed in. And I said, Mama Joyce just sitting there like this, grimacing. She don't like that man. Well, I'm sure she probably also heard the tea that allegedly Todd was stepping out on Candy. So, okay, we're not going to digress again, okay? Let me not digress again. Okay. Oh, thank you guys so much for the super chats. I didn't even realize. Dr. Payne, thank you so much for the super chat. Dr. Payne says, so happy I made a live. Happy New Year. Miss you, Kempire, and everybody. Thank you, Dr. Payne. I know you ain't been here. Where you been? Oh, let me shimmy. Let me shimmy in my Are You Okay shirt. Houseofkempire.com. Okay. Not me being out of breath. Uh-oh. No. I got to go do the stair climber today. Nicole, thank you so much for super chatting, for being a member. Nicole says, Kempire, this is why I like working from home. To be acting up with us in the chat. Thank you, Nicole. Dr. Payne, thank you so much for another super chat. Dr. Payne says, my husband did the hair thing in Turkey. He's very pleased, but you look great, so don't. No, I definitely know that it works. I've seen people that have done it. It definitely works. I don't think it's worth my life, because you just never know. You'll be that one statistic, you know? Thank you, Rahina. I mean, shimmy. Okay, y'all come in with the dollars today, the $20. All right, Rahina. Thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Rahina says, I used to be a fertility nurse practitioner. It's cheaper in Ghana, and we would have part-time and have multiple embryo transferred once, which can lead to high-risk pregnancy, but there's more that goes into it. Maybe that's it. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Thank you, Rahina. I mean, I obviously, there must have been some sort of benefit. But how much is the flight to Ghana? Just saying. Miss V, thank you so much for the super chat. Miss V says, I'm a pharmacist that works in prior authorization. Most of these plans put a cap on fertility if they pay for it. And drugs in general tend to be more expensive in America. That's why I figured it'd be probably more expensive here. But now they've gone to Ghana 5 times to do this? Maybe. Hey, your fine ass auntie. Thank you so much for the super chat. She says, go and get that 27-piece Kempin turkey. You know what? We shall see. We shall see. You never know. I might change my mind. Really? Oh, Miss Brooklyn says karma. She made some mean comments on Sweet Tea about her IVF journey. I'm trying to remember everything. All I remember were the comments from Dr. Heavenly. Oh, no, you're right. Now it's coming back to me. Oh, Lord, now it's coming back to me. But I still wouldn't wish that on anybody. But this is why I got to be mindful of the things you say. Oh, damn. La Quinta says that King is a sperm donor at this point. Ooh. Miss Spendless Save More says, I thought it was 3. According to King, he said 5. He said 5 times at the barbershop. Alti, thank you so much for being here. IVF in Ghana is 4 to 6K. Beverly Hills is 20K plus 5K for ovarian PRP. UK, it's, what is that? 8? Oh, 8K. Same clinic as Eve. I think Quad may be using an egg donor in Ghana. It makes sense as a way to keep privacy. 4 eggs is not enough. If she's using an egg donor in Ghana, why is... Okay, I'm not going to speculate. Maybe we'll get more clarification during the reunion, but I definitely think they've broken up. But okay. All right. PSM says, I agree. She did make some awful comments. Tress says people have selective amnesia. Okay. All right. Shelby says, no, she did not. I can't remember the specific comments, but I do remember some of the comments that Dr. Heavily made. But that's me. All right. Hold on. There it goes. Gadget says, the uncut on IG says that Quad is pregnant with a boy. But why is King no longer... Is what's her name right? Then was he just a sperm donor? Oh, no. Okay, let me focus. Let me move on. All right, so then we move on to Mimi at home with her son, Stevie. So we're getting a little bit more about Mimi and her journey with her son, who has a developmental disability, autism. And we see as soon as she's bringing him home, he's having a tantrum. So she takes him out, she brings him in. She says, your dad's going to be home soon. One of the things that I loved that they talked about in this scene was the fact that Savannah, their daughter, was going to spend a week with her mom. And she's spending the week with the mom to kind of give the daughter a break, because I love the fact that they're so mindful that the stress that they're feeling taking care of Stevie, the daughter also feels that stress. And she probably also feels a lack of attention from her parents when he's acting up and things like that. Okay? So they're very conscious of that, and they talk about that. So that's why she's spending a week with Mimi's mom. So she was talking with her husband when he comes home about how her day went, and she was talking about, like, when Stevie's in the car, it's like you got to bob and weave. So in regards to, like, he could have a tantrum, he could throw something. Yeah, that's pretty concerning. That's pretty concerning. So, let me see. So they talk a little bit more about that, and then she talks about the support group that she has, and they flash back to the support group and the women that were talking within that support group about some of the things that they're going through as mothers. So, Steve, her husband, tells Mimi to go take a break, go relax. I got him in regards to that. But then she feels guilty because she still wants to be able to cook and do things for the family. So I like what they're talking about this season, because more and more children and families like this are out there. So I know for them, seeing themselves on television is important, that they don't feel alone in regards to this, especially in the Black community, because there's so much that in the Black community that we don't talk about. I like that they're highlighting this journey and the struggles that they have. And a lot of times it also affects your relationship, your marriage. So I like that they're showing a support for each other and a support for their daughter, saying, like, okay, we need to give the daughter a break as well from all of this, because they don't want her to be on edge all the time either. All right. Monet says that Monet C says, I enjoy their perspective. They're very honest and authentic. Yeah. I agree. I'm falling in love with Dr. Mimi a little by little. The more we get to see of her personality, I'm enjoying it more and more. Nikki says, I love her husband, is so supportive and present. Yeah, he was like, go take a break. And then she's like, well, go grab C because he's got the lamp. She's like, get the lamp. I can't imagine, as someone that used to work with children with developmental disabilities, it's a lot. You've got to keep your eye on them at all times, to the point where I was working with a family with children with developmental disabilities, and there was one son that, oh my God, he's probably in his teens now, because when I was taking care of him, he was like 6, 5, something like that. But he would be everywhere, and he was nonverbal, so he really couldn't communicate. The other siblings could communicate more, but you had to keep your eye on him at all times, to the point where we had to have one person just for him. So, I mean, that's another element. I wonder if they have support beyond just themselves taking care of Stevie. It sounds like they need a little, especially because I don't know what Steve does now outside of, and remember, he's retired from football. So I don't know what he does outside of that. I'm sure maybe he does commentating. I don't know. So, Lakita says, Stevie was teasing that lamp up. He had that whole lamp up. That didn't look light. Dawn says, Steve is so sweet. He came home and the first thing he did was make sure Mimi was good. I know. They actually have a healthy relationship. We're going to talk about an unhealthy relationship in just a second. Oh, Lord have mercy. Okay, so Dr. Heavenly. I don't understand why Dr. Heavenly's a friend of the season. I initially thought the reason why she was a friend of was so that she didn't have to talk about her son and what her son is going through. She claims that she's only a friend of the season because she's running for political office. That also doesn't make sense to me either. But this storyline about her brother, Travis, is interesting to me. Do you think that I believe it's real. I believe this is her brother. But I just find it to be interesting. We have never even seen her sister. And now all of a sudden we're getting a brother? So we find out she sits down with her brother. She's like, guys, I have another man in my life. I have a brother. So apparently Travis showed up to her office saying, I'm Dr. Heavenly's brother. Is she here? So this is what she says. He came to her medical office claiming that they're related. Recently? Did he just find out recently? I'm not understanding why someone waited all this time. Or did he reach out before then? K-Baby says Heavenly knew about the brother. Okay, so I'm not alone in feeling like something's not adding up when it comes to this situation. Is she conveniently having a brother now? Toya jokes later on in the episode. She's like, you made up a brother? I don't believe she made up a brother. I definitely think that brother is her brother. But I wonder, Pretty Hair says, I didn't know she had a brother. No one did. But it makes me wonder, when did she find out really that she had a brother? I don't think it was this season. You know what I mean? So apparently her father was a Rolling Stone because he was the deacon at the church, but apparently he also had some side kids. I wonder if there's any more. I also found it weird when she sits down with Travis. She's like, let me do some calculations. So she wants to specifically point out the fact that Travis he came while her parents were still married. He's only like 5 years older than she is. I mean, this is what Dr. Heavenly is telling us. I don't know if this is true, but this is what she's telling us. Okay? Saintly Iconic says she doesn't want to talk about her son. She talks about the son as much as she wants to talk about the son. I do think it's convenient that she's not talking to the son. The son's not anywhere around this season. There's something not adding up for me. But I also find it interesting that she's not full-time, because even though she's not full-time, we're still getting a lot of Dr. Heavenly during the season. Okay. C-Flex says, imagine her on the cast of RHOA. The season could be spicy. Yeah. So Dr. Heavenly reveals that the calculation shows that this brother came while the father was still married to Dr. Heavenly. And now she's sort of like wrapping her mind around her father. She said she always thought her father was a stand-up guy. So she talks a little bit about her son. She's like, my son, I haven't talked to my son in a while. And he's like, oh, I haven't talked to your son in a while. He got arrested. The way she said it was sort of like, is he in jail? But then Travis says, yeah, I have my son just disappeared as well. Wait, huh? What is going on right now? I don't know. I don't know about this storyline. I don't know about what's happening right now. But okay, fine. If this is the storyline, this is probably one of the rare times where we have someone that's a friend of, and we're like, why is this person not full time? Because I feel like we're getting full time story from this person. Okay. Maybe not. Okay. Guys, keep liking the video if you haven't already. We have over 1,000 people here for our Married to Medicine recap. Thank you so much for the super chats. Gadget, thank you so much for the super chat. Classy, thank you so much for being a member for the super chat. Classy says, what does Quad's page say of the relationship? Wait, what does Quad's page say of the relationship page? What relationship page? What are you talking about? Are you talking about when we went to her page and we saw no pictures of King? Because it doesn't show anything of King. Saley Iconic says, not y'all both have criminals. Relatable. All right, Crystal said just disappeared. I was like, can you give us a little bit more on that? What is happening? Wait, your son just disappeared? Heavenly, that's your nephew. You should be more concerned. Like, where is your nephew? Nails by D says, definitely giving full-time cast member, especially because of the amount of drama that she's in. Did you guys notice that Brandy wasn't there most of the episode? She came in at the tail end. I still like Brandy. I don't care what anyone says. I think she's a good addition to this cast. Honestly, I like Brandy more than Angel, to be honest. We'll talk about Angel in a second. So we had that weirdo scene with Heavenly and her long-lost brother. Heavenly, why won't we ever see your sister? I get it. Your sister doesn't want to be on the show, probably. That's why we've never seen her. But you talk so much about your sister that I'm like, we couldn't get one scene from your sister in these last, 10 years, 11 years that you've been on the show. Just saying. All right. So Cecil and Simone at home. Okay. So they're flashing back to scenes where we're seeing that Cecil, we're seeing the people prepare for this mac and cheese contest that's going to happen at the family reunion. Heavenly invited Travis to the family reunion. So Simone says that this is part of the reason why she doesn't cook. She said no one appreciates her, which leads, because I have to say, with the big blow up that they had, seeing them sort of just chop it up in the kitchen, I was like, are we not going to talk about the big old blow up that you guys had? So she said this is part of her issue with the family, like no one appreciates her. Simone says that Cecil and the boys never ask what they can do to take something off of her plate. So Cecil's offended by that because he's like, what do you mean I don't take stuff off your plate? I'm always taking stuff off your plate. But she's more referring to when it comes to having her back when it comes to those boys. I hate to call them boys. They're men now. They both graduated college. But she refers to them as the boys. So Simone says that she's done with people that don't give an F about her. No, apparently you're not, because you're still in this marriage that you try to get a divorce for how many years ago? Like 7 years ago. So she things get a little heated in the kitchen between Cecil and Simone. And Cecil brings up a point. He's just sort of like, I'm able to move on when you make a comment that's offensive to me about how I don't help to take things off your plate when I actually do. And she admits that he does, but she's more talking so about when it comes to their sons. Okay? So she admits that Cecil does take a lot of her plate, but when it comes to the boys that he doesn't have her back. And then it gets heated really quickly, but then it simmers very quickly. Because Cecil gets upset and he points out, like, I do have your back, but you see how you make an illegitimate statement and I move on? You don't do that. So they quickly move on from this conversation, but I just don't feel like they got to the nitty-gritty of their issues. It felt like such a throwaway conversation for how big this blew up, to the point where she's like, she already, remember at Brandy's party talking about, am I the only one that doesn't want to be married? So that says to me, like, okay, now you're feeling the divorce stuff. Unless this is all a scheme that Todd set up for you to come to us with the divorce bull again. So I don't know. I felt like in that scene, I was like, is this real? Or are you just sort of like putting like a Band-Aid on a situation? I believe that they're probably putting a Band-Aid on the situation. I do. Saint Leigh kind of says she is sick of those boys. No, she's not, because we found out during the IG Live a few weeks ago that she bought him the new car. She bought Michael the new car. She got him a Tesla. Okay, and she probably paid for that trip to Jamaica, that where the boys brought their girlfriends. Oh, can't retire like that. Okay. Oh, Wade Keefe says that Simone is a Pisces and Cecil's a Libra. They're both lying. Wow.
Lies! The lie!
That's what Wade Keefe said about y'all. I didn't say that. That's what Wade Keefe said. Nikki says that Cecil is no scrub. I mean, I don't know. Look, I don't know if he's a scrub or not. But again, she signed up for it. She seems to be okay with it. So why are we still talking about this? Okay? Why are we still talking about this? The V-Life says they need a divorce. Look, if they're happy with their circumstances, then fine. Yannette says, I'm sick of this storyline. Me too. Hot Candy says, IVF success rate is 40% for women under 40. I don't know why he thought one round would be... That's what I was thinking, the same thing. I was like, did you talk to Dr. Jackie about this? Because having one round of IVF... and I'm not a doctor, and I was like, I don't think you should think that in your head. Ooh. Stoneheart Kathy says, now that's a Pisces lie. Is it? Brown Sugar Bear says, why y'all coming for Pisces like that? Woo, woo, woo. Woo, woo, woo. All right. So they end up making a real big joke about this conversation. They really breezed over this conversation very quickly, which I thought was interesting. And then they end the conversation where Cecil was like, oh, you know who you married, in regards to how he was reacting. And he was like, I know who I married. I didn't marry some sweet person that's soft spoken, blah blah blah. And she's like, I'm very soft spoken. He's like, yeah, when you're asleep. When you're asleep. All right, let's get to this family reunion. But before we get to the family reunion, I am going to drop the call-in link for those that want to call in and share their thoughts. But if you're a member, you're getting access first. So let me just do that now while I remember as I get into this family reunion. I always feel like these episodes, and I don't know if it's because Married to Medicine has more ads than some of the other shows. I just feel like by the time I'm done watching the episode, I'm like, damn, that episode went quick. So we get this family reunion that Dr. Heavenly is hosting. How did you feel about it? The food looked good. The food definitely looked good. But fine, whatever. So Heavenly's son apparently was invited to this. Her other son, the one that's not talking to her. She says she spoke to him via text, but she hasn't seen her son in months. Okay. Her other son, Zach, is there. And her daughter, Alora, comes a little bit later on. So the group in this moment, as they're talking about family reunions and they're starting to arrive, they talk about their own sort of, if they had family reunions. Simone's like, we didn't really do family reunions. We would just go to Big Mama's house. And then Toya talks about how, well, no, what was it? Who was it that had the fight at the house? Oh, it was Dr. Simone talking about there was a fight at the house. Okay. So as soon as Toya was talking about what would happen at her family's house, I was like, what happened when you guys were playing spades? Because, last week we went on a whole tangent talking about how spades is taken so seriously in the African-American community and how it can lead to real big old fights. Okay? All right. So Just say. So, Toya talks about that. As soon as Toya arrives, so all these people are arriving, but they don't really tell us who these people are. I don't know if they're blood related. I know some of them were blood related, but like all these people are arriving with it, and they're all color coded. All right, this was the physician's family reunion. So everyone's showing up. Toya shows up, and she brings up the fact that Heavenly's son. She's like, "Where's your other son?" And then Toya's laugh. You know her laugh. Toya is so messy, but here's the thing. If it was anyone else that she was doing it to, I probably would be like, damn, Toya, that was cold-blooded. But we know Heavenly does the same thing. They're cut from the same cloth. But I do think it is a very sensitive topic for her to be bringing up and just laughing about it. And Heavenly's like, okay, we're not going to do this. All right? And then Heavenly makes a comment about, she's like, but your man's Pee-wee is still small. Right, Daddy? And he's like, I don't know nothing about it. I've never seen it. Right, Daddy? But your man's D is still small. Steve talks about his family and things like that, and this is where we find out that Steve doesn't know his father. Okay, and when he would ask his mom about it, she was like, "Yeah, it could be Edwin," and he's just like, "Who?" And she's like, "We should find your." Mimi says, "We should find your dad," and he's like, "No, we're good. We don't need to go find my dad." Right? I want to know who Steve dad is, where Steve dad is. John said, I hollered when Heavenly said that. She's a mess. Okay. All right. So Quad shows up and she parks in the handicap space, but she didn't show up in her Rolls Royce. They showed up in King's, what was it? Ferrari? So, why did they park in the handicap space? Just asking. Why did they do that? Unless you handicap, I don't see why you're parking there. Maybe because that was the only place to park. Okay, I don't know. And he wants to be able to keep an eye on his car. All right. Mr. Squire says, asking your man about another's, you know what? Who's doing the bending? You know what? Goodbye. Okay. Pure luxury salons. I bet Steve looks just like his dad. Now I'm interested. I mean, I don't know if I want to see that as a storyline, especially because he seems not interested. Not everything needs to be for TV. Just saying. The V-Light says, I'm thinking no parking left. But did he have a handicap thing in the window? Just asking. Angel says, Dr. Eugene needs to confirm. Excuse me. Needs to confirm or deny if he's hung like a pinky. I feel bad for him. I mean, the way he keeps avoiding it, I'm assuming that. I mean, we have to remember, we heard this from Toya. We didn't hear this from someone else. We heard this from Toya. She said this herself a couple of seasons ago. She said, I wish somebody would have told me that it didn't get any bigger. That is what she said. But obviously she's happy with it. Okay. Lakia says, are you the parking meter lady? Where is your scooter? Okay, Nene. Where are... Y'all are our best. Nene's impact continues, right? It's always associated with something. For no matter what the conversation's about. Where is your scooter? Where is it? All right. So they show up. And why is everyone wearing t-shirts that say Webb? Why didn't they say like her man's last name? Oh, because they're not married. Okay. But she showed up with the entire city of Memphis. Quad did. Who are these people? Were some of those actual relatives? Then that makes me think like, wow, we don't really know some of these cast members' relatives. Like the man that Dr. Jackie was hanging on. I was like, that's not Curtis. Is Curtis here? Curtis was there. But then I was like, who's the man she's hanging on? Is that a cousin? This show has been on for 12 years. There's only certain people that we know their family members. But okay. All right. Heavenly then introduces everyone to her brother. Travis's interaction with his own nephew I thought was interesting. He's like, hey, nice to meet you. So you never met this man before the family reunion? So Heavenly's the only one that's met him and Dr. Damon Daddy? The kids haven't met him? Just ask him, just pointing out the obvious. Things happen. I don't know. Maybe this is real recent. I don't know. He's like, nice to meet you. I'm like, oh. Damn, so we technically met Travis before his nephew did? All right. Elise says, whoever Aaron was with, Dr. Eugene was fine. I don't know who you're talking about. There were so many people there. So many people that we just didn't know who they were. No, Curtis was there. Curtis was definitely there. He's not in the DR. He's definitely shown up this season. Probably because we were making so many jokes about him not being there. Yeah, exactly. Kiana says that's why nobody believed that was her brother. Even Toya, when she did this, she's like, "You made up a brother?" And then she reveals to Toya, "Oh no, my daddy had a lot of outside had." She said outside children. So is there more than one? Is there more than one? Just asking, because I feel like she said more. She said children, plural. But okay. All right. So then they had the mac and cheese contest. So first of all, I always love seeing the fact that Dr. Eugene has gotten his son into cooking. I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to take it seriously and becomes like a big chef. I love seeing this. So he's the one who actually made the mac and cheese. Eugene didn't make the mac and cheese. Their son made the mac and cheese. So Toy is walking around trying to get votes. And people are like, she's cheating. Quad's family's like, she's cheating in regards to it. So she's walking around trying to trump the votes. Do I think that her son Ashton made the best macaroni and cheese? It wouldn't shock me. But then I was thinking Quad supposedly is a very good cook. Have you guys ever? Oh my goodness! One of my friends, she's from Memphis, and I have to say, she's made some. She's never told me the recipe, which is fine because I much rather eat than cook. Her mac and cheese is probably one of, if not the best mac and cheese I've ever had. She is from Memphis too, and it's not like mac and cheese like everywhere else. The way she makes her mac and cheese, I'm like. Matter of fact, I might have to send her a text. Can you make me some mac and cheese? Because her mac and cheese is yummy. So it makes me wonder. Like, I want to be there to do the taste test. Okay? Exactly, Trini. She said trump the vote. Basically, that's what she was doing. Exactly. Mrs. Gigi says Ashton needs to go over there and teach Simone's boys. No, Simone's grown men. They're older than Ashton. They probably got a good 10 years on Ashton. Ain't that crazy? Look, Miss Esquire says, listen, folks from Memphis can cook. Quad can cook. I can speak for it because I've actually had my friends cooking multiple times. And I haven't had her mac and cheese in years. But I still remember her mac and cheese. So good. Looks so good. I'm going to have to send her a text. Like, can you just do like a little thing of mac and cheese? And I'm coming up and I'm going to have some mac and cheese. Mac and cheese. All right. So, but I have to say, their mac and cheese looks tasty. I don't know if it's really good, but it looked tasty. Do you think that Ashton made the best mac and cheese? I wonder what recipe he used for the mac and cheese. Did he say? I don't think so. It's just Maya says, I wish they'd stop calling them the boys. Agreed. Mr. Mellon Magic, thank you so much for being a member for the Super Chat. Mr. Mellon says, now if Heavenly said, is your dog coming, Toya? Oh my God. Mr. Mellon Magic, oh my God. That is so mean. I was not prepared for that. Oh my God. Oh my God. I need a moment. No. Oh my God. No. Kilo says, I liked it. Is your dog coming? Leave the dog out of it. Oh my gosh. Shonda says if Ashton's was the best, there'd be no need to cheat. I agree. Toya was, I think, just trying to have a moment. I think she was just trying to have a moment, but not as the dog coming. Come on, that is too far. I'm like shook. I am so shook by that. I'm glad Heavenly did not say that. Oh God. Mr. Melon Magic, can we put him on a timeout? How much? Do a little short timeout. Mods, put him on a little timeout for that one. If we could do a short one. My Lord, Dr. Payne, thank you so much for another super chat. Dr. Payne says, my happily married, I'm happily married for 44-year parent. Oh, my happily married 44-year parents stopped playing spades, almost divorced over a game they haven't played in over 20 years. Dr. Payne, you missed did you watch the replay of last week's episode? Apparently spades is a big deal. Not they almost got divorced over a spades game. OMG. Okay, Doctor. Miss V, thank you so much for the super chat. Miss V says, when Angel showed up and Michael was asking Simone about her, I said, sir, have several seats because Simone can't pay for that too. Oh! OMG. Chastity, thank you so much for the super chat. Chastity says, hey, Kempire, it's your Taurus sister again. I live in Atlanta, but I'm from Memphis. And trust, we throws down in the kitchen. I cook everything. I believe y'all. Like, please understand, I'm not arguing because I actually have a friend that is from Memphis, and I know y'all can throw down. I wish I could come to Memphis so I can get the throwdown, but I'll just go to my friend. She lives here in New York. I know y'all can cook. Okay. Damn. I'm still not over what Mr. Melon Magic said about the dog. Felicia says, yeah, the voting process was all over the place. They should have had one person from each to do a blind taste test and then voted for the best mac and cheese. I wish they would have shown us each person's mac and cheese just so that we could see each one. You know what I mean? But okay. Elise says, y'all on one today. Oh, C says, y'all on fire today. I'm having a good laugh. Were you here last week when we had the whole conversation about spades? Oh, a mess. All right, so Toya cheated, but Ashton ended up winning the contest, okay? Speaking of Toya confronts Angel because Angel shows up with some guy. So she goes over and has a conversation because apparently Angel's dating this guy, but she's known him for 10 years. So Toya, being messy, confronts him. She's like, so who are you? Bernard says that he and Angel have known each other for a decade. Toya says that Angel wanted her to hook up. Toya's throwing Angel under the bus. She's like, she wanted me to hook her up recently. And she wanted to meet one of Eugene's friends. So Bernard's like perplexed. Angel's in her confessional, basically like, if I was on my last dollar and I'm trying to get this mortgage paid, she's really effing it up. She's breaking girl code. No, Angel, I'm looking at you with the side eye. Why are you bringing this man around filming? This is why you still single. What are these reindeer games that you playing with? You circling the block? And mind you, we have to keep in mind too that Angel said to Toya that she wanted her to hook her up, and then she flaked. Remember that part from last week? She flaked. So I'm kind of looking at Angel like, Angel, this is probably why you're single, because you move messy. You definitely are moving messy. Like, I think what Toya was doing was a bit much, but she's producing reality television. But at the same time, I'm looking at you like, no, but what's really going on? Are you serious about wanting a relationship? Or are you out here playing games? Or maybe you want the mortgage paid. I don't know. Just saying. Public Good Project says that Angel was definitely trying to keep Toya out her business from the flashback. But she also asked Toya to hook her up. Cherry Blossoms Mocha says Angel was wrong. I mean, I don't know if I want to say she's wrong, but you going to bring this man and you don't know like you guys are trying to talk back to, I don't know. Angel, you sound a mess. You sound a mess, but okay. Tress says that Toya is so messy and not a girl's girl at all. Definitely not. Like, I'm trying to put the Toya part of this aside because I know what Toya is doing. She's trying to produce a messy moment. But in this moment, I'm just like, Angel, who is this man? So Sasha says that Angel just has wait, hold on, where'd it go? Oh, so Sasha says Angel just wants a roster of options. How's that working out for her, though? Dina says, if I see you with a man, I'll ask you in private. That's what normal people would do. But we have to remember, I tell you this very much like Dr. Heavenly. She's very much like Dr. Heavenly. She's always trying to produce a moment. I mean, I appreciate it for us that's watching this show. But, like, what's really going on, Angel? What's really going on? All right. Then Toya asks her, Toya asks Bernard, so how is Angel in bed? Now that was messy. How's Angel in bed? Excuse me? Weirdo behavior. All right. The final scene, Quad at home with King. She gets the results. She tells him to come to her room so that they can get the results of the test. She reads the results of the test. Basically, it was another failed retrieval. So this is where they end up having a serious conversation because he's concerned about Quad's mental health in this process because she starts to have a breakdown. Here's my thing. I feel for Quad, but when Quad cries, it's hard for me to take her serious because her cries are always so dramatic. So it's hard for me. Like, I got to kind of like not look at her in order to really take an assessment of the situation. But she says she feels like a failure. He says that he's concerned because of her reaction. It does weigh on you, this whole process. It weighs on the woman. It weighs on the couple. So he then says that he was okay not having any more kids, but he was doing this for Quad. He says that that they need to be realistic and that he thought that it wouldn't be this many rounds. So she says to him, so what are you saying? Do you not want to do this anymore, basically? And he's just like, I didn't think that it would be this. It's a lot of money. It's time. It's effort. And then she was like, well, how about the next round? I pay for it. And he was like, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not going to change the fact that you're taking hormones. It's not going to change the fact of traveling. It's not going to change the fact that I'm missing time with my daughter. So it brings up valid points because now apparently they're on their third, fifth, I don't know. Trial. He said five at the barbershop. Exactly. EMC says Quad cries like all my life I had to fight. It's very dramatic. It's very histrionic. But I believe that she's struggling. I do believe that she feels like at this particular point in her life, she's ready to have a kid. And she might feel guilt that maybe I waited too long. Maybe. Okay. All right. So that's how the episode of Married to Medicine ends. If you remember the channel, I did drop the call-in link for you guys on the community tab. If you are in the live chat, let's get to 500 likes and I'll drop the call-in link for you guys in the general audience. We're going to take some quick callers, but before we do that, today's live show is brought to you by our friends over at Factor Meals. I could use a Factor Meal right now. It's a new year, and I know it's a new you, and we've partnered with our friends over at Factor Meals yet again for the new year. Factor Meals, as you know, is a perfect option for those that don't want to cook, like I don't, but you also want healthy options, and they have a variety for you to choose from. So let's get started with the new year with our friends over at Factor. New year, big goals, no time to cook? Factor makes it easy with fully prepared meals designed by dietitians and crafted by chefs, so you can eat well without shopping or cooking. And I've talked to you guys before. I've spoken and gone through Factor meals with my own dietitian, and we've compared it to other meals, and this one has been a great option for me. So there's quality, functional ingredients, including lean proteins, colorful veggies, whole food ingredients, and healthy fats. No refined sugars, no artificial sweeteners, or refined seed oils. You have 100 rotating weekly meals. Options include high protein, calorie smart, Mediterranean diet, GLP-1 support. Because people forget this. I was just watching Dr. Frida. I don't know if you guys follow her on YouTube. She was talking about even if you're on GLP-1s, you need to be making sure that you are having a proper diet. It's not something that you can be on and just eat whatever you want. They also have some ready-to-eat salads. Plus, the new Muscle Pro collection supports strength and recovery. You know, I use this, so I think you should too. Of course, I've gotten you a deal. Head on over to factormeals.com/Kempire50 off and use code Kempire50 off to get 50% off your first Factor box and plus free breakfast for 1 year. Please keep in mind, offer only valid for new Factor customers with code and qualifying auto-renewing subscription purchase. Make healthier eating easier with Factor. More details on your discount and more will be available in the description. And we're back. Thank you to Factor Meals for sponsoring today's live recap of Married to Medicine. More details on Factor Meals will be available in the description, along with the Kempire After Dark, a live show. I keep forgetting to promote that. Guys, don't forget, the Kempire After Dark live show is happening on Friday, March 13th at the Green Room 42. It will be our only show of the year. I'm not doing any touring for 2026. I gotta stay here. So if you are in the New York City tri-state area, get your tickets today for the Kempire After Dark live show, where we talk about things that we don't talk about anywhere else. But if you want to be a part of it, you can be in New York. This show is the only show that has a live stream option. Get your tickets today for that. More information on that. On the live show, and Are You Okay merch is available in the description at houseofkempire.com. Let me see what you guys were saying in the chat. PSM says, Kempire, as a teenager, I used to say I didn't want children. And then once I was married, I wanted them, and it was a challenge. That sort of guilt does weigh on you. I did finally have my baby, though. Congratulations, PSM. I did see recently Claudia Jordan talking a little bit about that as well. Nikki, thank you so much for being a member. Nikki says, all this mac and cheese talk is making me want to go make some. Well, when you make some, can we get a plate? I will say, it's not making me want to go make some. It's making me want some, especially from someone that makes, from Memphis, that makes it. Tyler, can you make it? Tyler's in the backstage. Can you make some mac and cheese? P-Dub, thank you so much for being here. P-Dub says, there was a 57-year-old on YouTube last year who got pregnant naturally. Hopefully, Quad gets what she wants. I mean, anything's possible. Anything's possible. All right, guys, keep liking the video. We're going to get into some callers. Please keep in mind that the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, the Kempire LLC, or our sponsors. Mr. Melly Mac, did they really mute you? You had to go to Twitch? Not you had to go to Twitch. You got muted. For that comment, don't act up. Okay. Let me get to the callers. Cynthia's backstage. We'll bring Cynthia up first. Cynthia, what did you want to share about Married to Medicine?
Hi, Kempire. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Great episode. Yeah, I think that Toya's doing the most. I think, like you said, she's looking for a moment, and that's it.
Okay.
I'm driving with the kids.
Okay.
Have a good one.
You too. Hi. Bye. All right. Let's go to our next caller. Toya's backstage. Toya, what did you want to share about Married to Medicine? Toya, you're muted. Toya C.
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me?
Now I can.
I can't hear anything. I just wanted to say, for any of the women who do not have kids and you are not sure, even if you think you don't want to have kids, I think you need to check in with your insurance company, because a lot of insurance companies now are covering egg freezing. Oh. And if you want to at least get that out the way, that would really help. I did that a few years ago. I had no idea, and I was really glad that my insurance covered it. I had to pay my deductible, but I was really glad. So just for any of the ladies who are interested, just double check first, because you never know. And it's better to do it early at least in your early 30s or your 20s, but as early as you can. It's never too late, ladies. That's it for me. Bye-bye, Kempire.
Thanks, Toya. Take care. All right. Yeah, I mean, that's new news. I mean, it doesn't hurt to go give a call to your insurance and see if they cover it, because they don't cover but a bunch of nothing nowadays. Wendy's backstage. Wendy, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm kind of loopy because I'm just coming from getting a colonoscopy.
Oh.
I'm all good. Okay. I'm all good. No
That's
polyps.
good.
I'm good bill of health.
Damn.
But I wanted to say, I didn't understand the beginning where they were shading Simone about looking up folks. I didn't understand that. What was the point of that scene right there?
Setting up a scenario for later.
Probably so. They were shading her. And I'm from Memphis and I do make some good macaroni and cheese. Woo. Okay. But okay, but Quad, I'm like, okay, you dish it out. Now you're gonna have to take it, girl. I don't feel sorry for her at all because she did talk bad about Sweet Tea and her not being able to carry us out and everything. So I just do believe in karma and everything, and she's a fraud too. So I'm not a Quad fan, so I call her Quad the fraud. I think that this King situation, this is real. All right, bye, Kempire.
Thanks, Wendy. All right, let's bring up Tyler, who's also from Memphis. Tyler, what's going on? Tyler, is that you in the photo?
Yes, it is.
Oh, excuse me.
So yes, Kempire, us from Memphis, we can cook, and Mississippi. Like us from Memphis, a lot of people come from deep down in Mississippi. It's called the Delta. We can cook. We're known for barbecue, but soul food top notch, especially macaroni and cheese. I don't know if people like candy yams, all that. We're known for that. We yes. What I will say, I would imagine, I know Quad doesn't want to talk about the passing of her niece, but I bet that is one of the main reasons why she wants to have a child. I don't like how King approaches her, but I do appreciate the honesty. I just think that he needs to do a better job, or maybe the show needs to show him being more compassionate. Because, they do edit things on Married to Medicine, and it's horrible on Married to Medicine. It's always scenes that we probably should have seen. And last but not least, Toya. Here's where I take issue with Toya. Heavenly is of course, no saint. But Toya, I'm pretty sure that Simone has told you that Heavenly's son has not been there because they all talk. Why would you say that? You already knew that. Toya is just techie Toyota. I want to call her Corolla, the lowest level of a Toyota. But anyways, that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. Take care. All right, Taurus with the T's backstage. We're going to bring Taurus with the T up next. Taurus with the T, what did you want to share?
Hey, Cam.
Hey.
Just want to say, I feel really bad for Quad. I had a sister who was trying to get pregnant with PCOS, and as I believe it was the previous caller mentioned, that she had to go through her health insurance, and to this day now I have a 4-year-old nephew, but it is very much a struggle. And I feel like for Quad, she knew that she didn't want to have any kids with Dr. Greg, and now that she does want to have kids, it is a little bit of a complication. So I do feel her when she says that she feels like a failure. Toya needs to shut up. I am so aggravated with her talking about Heavenly's son. She better hope that Avery and Ashton never put her on blast, because you should not be talking about anybody else's kids. You know what's going on. You brought that up to be shady. And I'm definitely here when she is, when Heavenly is retaliating, because Toya needs to stop it. And her bringing up that conversation to Dr. B in front of Angel, super tacky girl, that is none of your business. Worry about Eugene. Go in the kitchen. Stop letting your young son cook for you. Be a mother. Goodbye. Okay, that's it.
Thanks, Taurus with the T. Damn, everybody's shady today. All right, let's bring up Keith next. Keith, what did you want to share about Married to Medicine? Keith, you're muted. Keith?
Sorry, you can hear me now? Better.
Yes. Keith's
All right,
too busy
perfect.
with
Sorry
his
about that.
man.
Say that again?
I said Keith is too busy with his man.
But actually, I'm really want to talk about a little bit about the relationship between Heavenly and Dr. Damon.
Oh.
So I have a little bit of an issue with the fact that she calls him daddy, because I know that a lot of time people like to really actualize the word daddy when it comes to their significant other. But I feel like also, I think Heavenly isn't being completely transparent on her relationship with her father. But I also think that it's a little bit weird. It feels like I'm kind of in their bedroom whenever she says zaddy, zaddy, zaddy. Like, why am I in your bedroom? I don't need to hear this. It's a little weird. But one more thing also, Toya, I don't know. There's just something about Toya that I really like. Like, she's the villain that I love to hate. I don't know what it is, but she's like, unlike, like Giselle, Ashley, those are villains I actually dislike. Toya is a villain I like to dislike, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's about it. And also, Happy New Year's. I don't think I spoke to you other than like Potomac earlier, so I just want to say Happy New Year's.
Happy New Year,
yeah, that's about it.
What'd you do? What'd you do for New Year's?
I was in Los Angeles
with your man.
So I was, yeah, with my man and his family, and then we went to Napa Valley for the weekend as well. So it was a pretty nice trip.
Okay, all right, good. Well, Happy New Year, Keith. Thanks for calling in.
Happy New Year.
Bye.
Thank you.
If you are not here for one of our dating lives, that's why we're so invested in Keith and his relationship. That's why we know a thing. We're not just bringing it up to be in Keith's business, y'all. So just a disclaimer. All right, Lakia's backstage. Lakia, what did you want to share about Married to Medicine? Lakia, you're muted.
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me?
Now I can.
You know, I rarely come on. I just be in the background in the comments, but I had to come and speak today. Okay. Tacky Toya with her temper tantrums. I'm sick and tired of her. Now, if Angel would have clapped back and said, why are you worried about Bernard? You need to be worried about if Eugene grew down below yet. Like, did it get any bigger? No? Oh. That's why you mad. Okay. Quad, this man is saying he don't want to have this baby. Let that man go and find somebody who want to be with child with you. You too old to be a baby mama, honey. Party it up with Yandy. Maybe she could hook you up with one of her connections over there. Or both.
She has been partying over there with Yandy.
I see, dropping it low. Hopefully she's spreading it wide so she can get that child.
OMG. Okay. All right.
Heavenly. I like Heavenly tantrums. But if Heavenly, what Heavenly is saying is correct, then that means that Toya started the conversation and Dr. Heavenly gave her what she was asking for. You want a moment? I'm going to give you a moment. They need to give Heavenly a full-time check since she's been everybody's storyline in every episode.
Valid.
At this point, she the friend of that's the part-time, but really full-time.
That part. All right, Lakia. Is that it?
Oh, I could go further, but I'm going to stop there.
You got 10 seconds.
I'm just wanted to say, I did tell you Happy New Year's, but Happy New Year's to everybody in the chat.
You too, Lakia. Thank you for calling.
And yeah, we are invested in Keith relationship. We see each other.
See? I thought I was the only one. Thanks, Lakia, for calling in.
Bye, Kempire.
Bye. I always forget there are some people that are watching in the background that don't say anything, but they're watching. So shout out to those of you. You have to go look at some of our dating lives. Just put Kempire Dating and the dating lives will come up. We had like a 5-hour one not too long ago. Angel's backstage. Angel, what did you want to share?
Oops.
Hello? Angel, are you there? Oh, she dropped out. Okay. April Aries is backstage. April Aries, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
You've been keeping me so entertained while I work from home. But anywho, this episode was quite entertaining. And I was laughing from you and from the episode, everybody's commentary.
Oh.
And you cannot trust bald men except for you. I love you. So you are good. And I felt so sorry for Quad towards the end of the episode because so I watched for you because I know you said you don't like to see her cry. So don't worry, I did the work for you. And I was like, oh man. And I was like, you know what? Maybe things weren't meant to work out with him, especially if he's in that mindset. It's very important that when you're bringing life into this world that you guys are all on the same page, and it just didn't seem to work out. And as Caribbean folks, when men are set up like that, they are already like, okay, I'm going to do this. Either we're going to do it or we're not going to do it. I don't know why he thought it would take one trip when it's IVF. It's like, baby, this is live. And I do think it was very messy of Toya to point out the other son. Like, yes, I don't like Dr. Heavily, but if the roles were reversed, she would have blew a gasket. Have a good day, Kempire.
You too, April. Thank you so much for calling in. I will drop the call link for the general audience very quickly. I was trying to get out of here, but here we are. Here I is. Angel's backstage. We're going to bring Angel up again before she drops out because she got T-Mobile. Angel, are you there? Angel? T-Mobile strikes again. I don't think she has T-Mobile. Angel, we can't hear you. Can you hear us? Angel? Angel, can you hear me? I guess not, Angel. Try again, Angel. Let me bring up Michael next. Michael, what did you want to share? Michael, are you there?
Hey, Kemp, how you doing?
I'm well.
Okay, so the bulk of my time is going to be used on Quad. This is how I feel. No, Greg was not a perfect husband. But in that, let me correct that. Greg was a horrible husband. But in that relationship, Quad played too many games. If you don't want to bear somebody's children, then you need to divorce that man and leave him. It is not right that you stayed in that relationship for 2 years, not fulfilling your vows intimately to that man, playing puppy couture games. And now, all of a sudden, you bust out with, I want to have a baby, and think that God's going to work for your favor. That's not how it works. Karma is a real thing, and I'm not talking about Candy's friend. When you play games like this, it's going to come back at you. So I don't expect Quad to get pregnant or have a successful pregnancy with IVF using King, maybe with another guy. But this go around, she's going to get the same thing she got with Greg. All right, that's it.
Thank you for calling in. All right, let's try Angel again. Angel, are you there?
Hey, Kempire. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't hear anything, so I had to take my earpiece out.
Oh. What's going on?
So Sunday is becoming a trip because we've got Heavenly and Tia talking about their dads have side babies. We got both angels bringing us barely anything. And then we got Who Wore It Worse between Giselle and Contessa. So it's just becoming too much. But Toya needs to lay off of other people's businesses, and so does Simone, because she has got to be this miserable to be going through Googling everybody's financials or whatever the heck they got going on. Girl, just get the divorce, get the high-rise apartment, and then let your back be blown out in peace, in the words of Tiana Taylor, and get your life instead of worrying about everybody else's. That's it.
Thanks so much, Angel, for calling in. OMG. Okay, let's move on. Let's bring up Chrissy next. Chrissy, what did you want to share in regards to Married to Medicine?
Hey, Kempire, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I can hear you. Okay, I just wanted to add with the Quad and I cannot remember her boyfriend's name. What's his name again?
King?
King, yeah, Quad and King. I just don't get why she's going through all of this with King, and I don't want to be too traditional, but I do feel like if you're going to go through all of that with someone, I would think you guys would discuss marriage first. IVF is very difficult to go through. It's a long process, and I don't think their relationship is stable enough to handle that, especially now that supposedly they're broken up. Like, I think the relationship is too new to go through something as hard as IVF. It puts a big strain on your relationship. And King is looking like he's not even sure he even wants to be with Quad. Like, he's looking like kind of like he's here for a good time, not a long time, from what I'm observing with King. And I do feel like Heavenly and I cannot think today. What's her name? The one that's going for Heavenly. She's fighting with
Toya.
Toya. I'm so sorry. Toya need to cut it out. Like, she's kind of coming off like she's starting problems with Heavenly, and Heavenly's not even really coming for her right now. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thanks, Chrissy, for calling in. All right, let's bring up Akila next. Akila in the B. What's going on, Akila?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you. So I just wanted to add, a lot of people are saying.
Hold on, Akila. Wait, Akila, do you have headphones on?
I do.
Maybe you should take them off because we could barely hear you.
Okay. Okay, is it better now?
Oh, so much better. Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't understand what Quad said about Sweet Tea. I do remember her saying like, oh, you didn't make good on the promise that you made Greg when it came to having a baby. But that's the only thing that I remember her saying, because people are like really saying that she deserves karma, like not being able to have a baby. But I don't remember her saying anything about Sweet Tea other than that.
Yeah. I don't wish that on anyone. I mean, yes, you may have said things in the past, but I don't wish or... I don't like saying karma in regards to someone's.
And then another thing I wanted to add is I really don't understand why Toya or why any of the ladies aren't really getting on Toya when it comes to her talking about Heavenly's son. I think it's super inappropriate. If Heavenly has never talked about anybody's children, and if she said anything about Avery or Ashton, everybody would be coming for her. But it's okay for Toya to talk about her son, who's never really ever filmed.
Yeah, barely.
Or liked to film. But that's all I had to say.
Thanks, Akila, for calling in. Okay. All right, let's bring up Jasmine next. Jasmine, what did you want to share about Married to Medicine? Jasmine, you're muted. Jasmine, can you hear me? There's a lot of tech issues today. Jasmine, can you hear me? I can't hear you, Jasmine, because you're muted. Jasmine. Oh, Jasmine dropped out. All right. Sunshine, I'm going to bring you up next. Sunshine, what did you want to share?
Yeah, Kempire. It's gonna be 30 seconds or less. I think Toya giving Heavenly exactly what she asking for because she has dogged Toya to the fullest the whole time on her podcast. Quad the fraud, and I'm with the lady. I'm not saying that she wasn't trying to have a baby, but I think there was a storyline. King looks at Quad like he thinks that she's disgusting, and I see no love there. The thing with Simone and doing background checks and whatsoever. I think that's just a part of a storyline because like I don't see her doing it. But if she did, that's crazy anyway. But the whole thing about it is like with King, I don't trust King. I really don't trust Quad because Quad, Heavenly, Jackie, all of them banded together to get Mariah off that show. And now all of them looking like fools because I don't think that she would even say that she had a brother if she wasn't even running for office. Like he just popped out of nowhere. Be for real. Like I said, all of them. I mean, those three right there. There's something wrong with them. There's something wrong with them. And I remember Angel from Basketball Wives. But the thing with Angel is, girl, you a nurse. You ain't married to nobody. You can date whoever you want. And I would have shut Toya down right then and there. But that's all I got.
Okay. Thanks, Sunshine. All right, let's bring up Jasmine again. Jasmine, are you there?
Kempire, can you hear me?
Now I can.
Because I keep getting muted.
I can hear you now.
You ain't married to nobody. You can date whoever you want.
Well, turn me off.
I keep getting muted. I'm out. I'm so sorry. If you can't hear me.
I can. Oh, it's all right, Jasmine. Next time. Must be some sort of technical issues today, but it's okay. Thank you all for everyone that called in and shared their thoughts and opinions on the latest episode of Married to Medicine. I think what people are seeing when it comes to this cast and why people are kind of sick of the hypocrisy, they're sick of the same old story, is because they have refused to make the changes to this cast over the years. So now everything is stale. Now what we're seeing is people trying to pre-produce their own stories. And that becomes tiring for the audience to watch. What I can appreciate this season, there definitely seems to be a focus on everyone's personal family stories instead of the fighting within the group. We're going to get back to fighting within the group next week in regards to Quad and Dr. Simone. We don't care about that. We definitely do not care about that. We definitely don't care about Angel having some sort of coming out party either. But okay, they got to give Angel a moment, all right? Whatever. Sorry, Angel, at this particular point, we're on episode, 6? I'm not interested. Beautiful gowns. Keith, thank you so much for the super chat. Keith says, as old as Quad is, she should know to never let a man say he doesn't want you more than once, because after that, he's just going to show you. Well, damn, Keith. Just like a Virgo to just tell you about yourself, and you even asked for it. All right. I want to say thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. Thank you to our subscribers. And thank you to those of you that are just watching. We appreciate it. But if you're not subscribed, you should get subscribed. Make sure you follow, okay? Make sure you subscribe. And don't forget, you can hear our live recaps on the Kempire podcast. Along with a new episode of Club Kempire, I just dropped part 2 of our recap of Members Only Palm Beach. If you want to know my thoughts, that's where it will be. You can listen to it on the Apple Podcast, or you can go to Apple Podcasts website to listen to it if you don't have an Apple device. Okay? Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you guys. Let's get to 500 likes. If you haven't liked the video already, don't just be here. Like, okay? Teresa says that Angel was a flop on Basketball Wives too. P-Dub says the editing is not helping Angel at all. I mean, we can blame editing. Katrina says, but she talks about people's mothers, and she did talk Simone's kids, said that they grew up now. Now that they grew up now, they are better. Oh, were you talking about Dr. Heavenly? Yeah. All right. I appreciate you all being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Monday. I'm going to go rest my voice, but if you don't follow me on TikTok, you probably should. Later on this evening, I probably will do our late evening rehash of The Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine. But I'll see you all in the next one. Don't forget Kempire After Dark, the only show for this year is happening in New York City. Go get your tickets today if you're in the New York City tri-state area or will be. Get your tickets today. There's also a live stream option. So if you are abroad or you're in another part of the country, get your tickets for the live stream. All that ticket information will be available in the description. Everyone, I will see you all in the next one. Let's continue this conversation. Replay crew, let me know your thoughts. All right. Thank you all for being here. Bye, y'all.
Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Don't forget to give us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. For more information on the podcast, head on over to KempireRadio.com.